Hi, I'm Aleda.
I'm Gabriella.
And we are a tale of two readers.
Today we're going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag, but first we just want to talk a little bit about how we met and kind of what our vision is for this channel. So, you want to take it?
Yeah, I met Gabby's mom, I guess about 5 years ago now, and her mom told me that her daughter was a big reader, so I started giving her books to give to Gabby. She also watched my daughter, and we just got to talking, and we just turned out to be friends, which is really nice.
So we thought it would be interesting to have two generations of readers on one channel, kind of sharing our different perspectives on things and just talking about books.
Okay, so I'm going to start with our first question. Why did you start this channel?
So I think kind of what we covered, we just wanted to have two different perspectives because I think we bring, different things to the table. Aleda works at a library, so she is exposed to different books than I would be exposed to just, on the internet.
I think it's going to be really neat to see how we each view the same book, but from a completely different generation.
Yeah.
Also, as a Hispanic woman, I might be able to bring some kind of perspective to the table.
Totally.
What are you most excited about for this new channel?
Ooh, so I'm excited to get better at talking about books because I've been doing that online for a couple years now, but I still feel like almost I'm in a rut, maybe I'll say. Like, I'm ready to expand and to talk about it, like, actually out loud instead of just writing reviews on Goodreads and on Instagram, which is what I'm used to doing. I think it'll just be good for, like, personal growth.
I'm most excited about trying a new medium, and video is just really fun, and I follow several booktubers that I just really enjoy, and I'm just excited to be a part of that tribe. So
yeah, me too. It's a good community.
Why do you love reading?
Oh, well, I think the art of storytelling is something that I'm very passionate about and I'm very interested in, whether it be books or TV or movies. I just think that's so important to be able to connect to different stories and just like let yourself be open to that.
I agree. I think that for thousands of years, we've been sitting around fires sharing stories and passing stories down, and I think that's such a part of what makes us human. Yeah. And whatever kind of story it is, a cautionary tale or just a fun, funny tale or tragedy or whatever, I think it's just human. I think it's very human. What book or series got you into reading?
Oh man,
I feel like that's a question for the Harry Potter generation. Like,
yeah,
everybody's gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the first series I remember reading. But when I was little, I remember my parents reading to me, like picture books, Bread and Jam for Francis, and If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, all of those. And I still I read those today to like my little nieces, and I get so nostalgic because it's just I remember it so vividly. But the first stories that I read on my own were probably like The Boxcar Children, Nancy Drew. I was big into mystery apparently. And I would devour them. I read so many of them. So probably those.
For me, I remember one book in particular, it was my favorite. It was called Umbrella. It was about a little Japanese American girl who got an umbrella and new rain boots for her birthday, and she wanted to wear them so badly. And I remember so clearly my mother reading this to me in a Spanish accent, and the sounds that the raindrops would make on her umbrella, and my mom, making those sounds. It's just so, yeah, it was really, and I actually bought that for my daughter, and I read that to her as well. But I think for me, where I really felt like, you could see other people that are going through your experiences in Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume. And that was huge in my generation. I I gave it to my daughter as her 10th birthday gift.
Did she read it?
She read it. And I was so happy. I was so afraid she was going to hate it because, you know,
Yeah,
I'm so attached to
yeah.
it. But she could not put it down, and she loved it, and I was just so thrilled. And again, I think that kind of just every little girl is going through that change. I just feel like it's a universal experience, and it was just really neat to have it in written word when you think of books as, you know, learning at that point in school. So, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be hardest to overcome? I think the sound.
Oh my gosh, we just had a whole thing with a microphone. This is actually our second time filming this video. We are trying to figure out these microphones, and we'll get the hang of it. We'll get it, but we're filming on an iPhone right now, so.
Yeah. We were filming on a MacBook Air, so any advice, please put it down below. Any advice on how to hook up the microphone and make it work, please
we do
put
have
it down below.
We have a DSLR camera too that we can use, or two, because I have one.
Okay.
But we're just trying to figure it out. So whatever your setup is, if it's working for you, let us know, and maybe we will pick it up.
Yeah, definitely.
I think posting consistently would be a challenge.
Right, because we have I have a daughter. It's like school, ice hockey, and then games on the weekends.
And I'm in college and working, so it's just, we've got a lot going on.
But we'll be here for you.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Where do you read? That's a really good question, I think, because I never thought of my car as being, and I do read a lot of audiobooks.
Me too. I'm big into
commute.
audio. I listen while I drive. I listen while I'm in the bath. I listen while I'm sometimes while I'm at work. I do a lot of cooking, so I listen while I cook. And then I do read in bed sometimes.
Yeah, that's my favorite place to read, reading in bed. And that's usually where I read. And then, of course, my bedspread is covered with different books because I read several books at a time. So I have a couple of, novels on my quilt, and then I have, a bunch of audio books, on my Audible. But so I read, like I said, several things at the same time, and whatever I'm in the mood for is what I pick up at that time. So
I think that leads really nicely into the next question, which is, what type of books do you like to read?
Okay, so go ahead. What kind of books do you like to read?
I think my top two genres right now are urban fantasy and then contemporary. I read pretty much anything that has good reviews, but yeah, I think those are my top two. That's kind of what I gravitate towards.
For literary sake, I like to read particularly women of color from all over the world. It doesn't really matter where they're from, but I love that perspective of how we all are so different, but in the end, we're all human, and I really like that. And then of course the writing is beautiful. It's different. It sometimes can be very lyrical. And for fun and for escape, I always go into international thrillers or global espionage, and I love epic fantasy, so we'll be talking a little bit about that too.
Yeah. What are you reading right now?
So I'll tell you what I just finished. Nickel Boys I just finished, which was wonderful.
Yeah,
you all know that because
I just checked it out at the library.
Yeah, all the booktubers are talking about it, so you guys probably already know. I just finished The Dragon Republic, which is the second in the Poppy Wars series, and I think that's by Kwan. I just started reading Poet X, Poet X, which was a recommendation from Gabby. So I'm really excited. When I opened it up, and the first words here, I'll read the first line out to you. Let's see, where is it? Oh, it's the title of the first poem, and it's Stoop Sitting. And it's so funny because I grew up in a city where all the houses in the front had stoops, and that's what we did. And it was you really were in contact with your neighbors as opposed to here in suburbia.
Yes.
We just don't.
It's very different.
But it's lovely. It's a lovely book so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
Yeah, I actually just finished reading her other book, With the Fire on High, and it was amazing. I love anything that she writes. She has a new book coming out called Clap When You Land, I think, like in a couple months here.
Okay.
And so I'm really excited for that too. But I'm right now rereading Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I'm reading the illustrated edition, which is just beautiful. I love Jim Kay. And then I'm also reading on audio Ghost of the Shadow Market by Cassandra Clare.
Okay. And there are a couple things that we're hoping to bring to this channel that maybe some booktubers don't do, like, you know, bring back some backlist books that, you know, are maybe 20 years old, but they're excellent. You shouldn't miss them. I find that following booktubers, I always want to read all of these books, and then I end up DNFing because I just don't have the time.
Yeah, my TBR is just huge. My Goodreads list right now is like over 100 books, and that's just not realistic. So it would take me years to read all of those, and then new books would be coming out that whole time. So, you know.
You don't want that pressure. I mean, you want to enjoy reading, and I don't want to be like, I know that there's one booktuber, Helene Jespersen, who's wonderful. And she said that she was going to take a break from booktubing because she felt so much pressure to read these new books that are coming out and review them in time and make sure she, you know, so I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be...
We're just going to be recommending what's good.
Right, what we like.
Stands the test of time. Yeah. So we're really hoping that you like this video and that you want to subscribe to us and follow what we're going to be posting. We'll be back with another video really soon.
Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.